So we're up here talking about one of my favorite topics because a lot of times when we're training, right, we're training about what our job is, right? And here we're taking a step back to train about management. And management should not be taken lightly. Okay, who knows this? Peter Principle.
Just because you're a good salesperson, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a good manager.
That's exactly right. So the Peter Principle is actually what we're fighting today. The Peter Principle is the tendency in life. I guess I got to get back on the stage to see people in the back. The Peter Principle is the tendency in life and in business. You get promoted to a job, and then you're good at that job. So you're a good project manager. So then you become a senior project manager. Then you become a DM. Then you have all these layers. You go up. But because the skills that got you promoted from the first job and put you in a managerial position are not the skills that you need to succeed at the next job. Right? So that's what we're doing here. And what we do and how we fight the Peter Principle is through continuous learning, right? So the Peter Principle, said simply, is the tendency in life to be promoted until your own level of incompetence. And then you stagnate at a company. And so you need to be completely fighting the Peter Principle and trying to hone your skills no matter how. It's really a never-ending journey, the study of management. So you need to be completely honing your skills. And as your organization grows, trying to become a better and better manager. Because the tendency is when you stop getting promoted for you to stagnate there. And that's what we're trying to fight here through our trainings. Next slide, please. So anyone have any answers for this? What do they think the most important characteristic of a good manager is? A good listener, I heard. They deliver, okay. Consistency, lead by example, trust, right. So there are so many great answers to this question. There's no real wrong answers. But I've seen managers do a lot of different things. And in my experience, the most important thing is that you take a personal interest, a personal invested interest in the success of your team. Okay? If you do this, it won't get you over every mistake in the world, but will get you over a lot of mistakes. All right? You want to help your people get to the next level. And this is not something that you can fake. You can't phone this in. You have to really kind of own this concept. You have to express it in your words and your deeds. And if you don't, people will know. So you really have to care. To be a great manager, you really have to care about getting your people to the next level. Okay, next slide. Right, and so what is the next level? Right, so the next level is, or what is success? You know, success in the transport definition of success is progression, right? And you as a manager need to figure out what that definition is for your people, because it's going to change a little bit. Sure, some people, it's easy to say, well, somebody wants to share in financial rewards and get a raise. Sure, but some people are motivated by the opportunity to learn or go to conferences like this, or within their particular vocation and technology, they want to learn new skills, and you need to provide them opportunity. That's what motivates them. Other things intangibles. Somebody might be motivated by the corner office or the parking spot. I don't know, but there, whatever it is that motivates your folks. If they're high performers and you want to be a good manager, then you need to figure out what that is. You've got to have specifics. Now, I know if I did this test, right, I should, in this theoretical world where I live, I should be able to go around and ask you, what is the next stage of your career, right? And you should be able to answer me. Like if you're managing two people, that it's going to be, I have to accomplish this on my product or this with my team, and then I can hire a third and fourth person. And here's the answer, right? And so your manager should, like in an ideal world, you and your manager should be going over this with specifics. But there's nothing in the rule book that prevents you from going. If you don't have this, don't just put it on your manager. Go to your manager and say, let's make a plan. Let's make a plan for my success. What's my progression, right? So management is not a one-way street. So anyway, the more specifics you can have, the less chance of miscommunication, the better you are. This is what I use. Nothing works all the time, okay? But as a manager, people will think nothing of coming in and, has anybody here ever had somebody quit on them by surprise? Wow. Okay. So you guys know my pain. So what I would say is, and nothing works all the time, but if someone has quit on you and you totally didn't see it coming, then maybe that wasn't a great thing for them to do, but you also need to look in the mirror as the manager. And so one of the things that I try to do to kind of set the tone of communication correct right at the very beginning is when someone works for me is I say, look, I'm not going to come in one day and fire you out of the blue. If I'm upset with you, I'm going to be telling you 8 ways from Sunday. I'm going to be in your face about it. You are going to have every chance to correct it. If you can't correct it, we'll shake hands and we'll part ways, ladies and gentlemen. But if we cannot, it's not going to be a surprise, right? You would and the people that have had someone give notice by surprise, conversely, would that person expect the company just to come in one day and fire them, right, by surprise? Never happened, right? We would give warnings. We would, so you should expect the same courtesy, right? If someone is not succeeding if one of the people that works for you, you want to have an honest relationship where they can come and tell you that for whatever reason, my career is not progressing or I'm not succeeding, and you can at least try to solve the problem together. Maybe you won't get there, maybe you won't solve the problem, but you definitely want to have that communication. Okay, next slide. Who thinks this is true? More important to be respected, to be liked. Who thinks it's more important to be liked than respected? I will tell you, it's good not to be hated. It is. Of course, it's more important to be respected, to be liked. But it is good if you don't hate your manager with a seething fire of 1,000 suns. It's important not to be hated. But next slide, please.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
So this answer, right? Obviously, it is more important to be respected than be liked. But why is that? Because when you're a manager, right? You are going to be, if you want to be a great manager, the definition, or at TransPerfect, or the definition I've held, is a manager helps somebody achieve something that they would not achieve on their own, right? And so you're going to be pushing for performance, right? And so if you've given somebody one reason not to respect you, they will not buy into your program or they will check out, right? So next slide, please. And again, they're going to look for something. They're going to look for something to check out in your program when they're pushed hard for performance. So integrity above all. This is an obvious point. It actually it's very, very hard to think about if you are a manager and you say there's going to be a pizza party on Friday and then something happens and the pizza party doesn't happen. It really doesn't seem like an ethical transgression, right? We forgot to order the pizza, But just remember, for A, it's not what you say, it's what people hear. But B, when you set an expectation as a manager, this is very, very important. Always do exactly what you say you're going to do. If you can't do it, or if there's only a 50% chance the party's going to happen, or if there's only a 50% chance, or another way to say this is, I don't even know if you guys know what checks are anymore. Anybody remember checks? Don't write a check that your career can't cash. Don't promise somebody a promotion. Don't promise somebody something if you haven't got approval. You need to make sure as a manager, when you have an oral contract with somebody, that you always come through with what you say. It sounds like a simple concept, but people miss this one all the time in life. All right, so when you go out there and you say this is going to happen, make sure it does. Other small things like integrity. Don't gossip. Don't bring your personal baggage to work. The idea of fair, we'll talk about fair in a minute, but the idea of unfairness is in the eye of the beholder. Just remember that. Just because you think something's fair doesn't mean that the individual that you're managing thinks it's fair. So try to have empathy and see it through their eyes.